Welcome back to the Dirt Show. Before we start, I just
All right, boys. What's up? What's up?
Independence is our business. Mute Ugadi, Greenland's prime minister, said in a statement, "Our future and fight for independence is our business." Dude, that sounds like the Greenland prime minister actually wants independence. Good for him. So yeah, what the heck does Denmark have to do with this? Get your European. Oh my gosh! I guess let me. I'm just gonna throw up a couple of clips and then we'll start chatting about the news. Tariffs at a very high level if Danish officials don't cooperate with his bid to take over Greenland. He questioned whether Denmark has any legal right to control the territory. Trump and transition officials offered no details on the plans for territorial expansion. Territorial expansion, baby, let's go! As Trump threatened to hit Denmark with tariffs at a very high level if Danish officials.
Tariffs, baby. Tariffs. Oh, we're good on that. All right. Looks like we're good on that. Boom, boom, boom. Let me hear say way out. Boom, 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 boom. That's two.
X's footsteps by letting users fact check each other with community notes. That's amazing, dude. Wow. Think about the fact that all of the naysayers about Elon Musk and what he was doing with X, and now Facebook is.
So he'll do like a 500-page report, and it'll be a fake report, just like the investigation was a fake investigation. And I said, well, wait a minute. This guy was thrown off in disgrace. In disgrace. He's going back to The Hague or wherever they're going to send him. In disgrace. Because he failed so badly. Because it was a fake case against a political opponent. They thought they were going to use this to beat me. So,
Dude, you know what was absolutely hilarious? You know what's so funny is I hold on, let me actually mic check. Hold on, let me actually mic check. All right, that sounds good. I get so many. Some people post such nasty comments on my stream. Yo, Eric's in the house. Goku Gains is in the house. What's up, guys? By the way, Goku Gains, are you you're big into CS, right? I think you asked if I was still playing CS the other day, and the answer is yes, I am, and I just recently have played some. Guess what up? 0% containment's been going on for 4 days now. Gavin declares an emergency. Did he just today declare an emergency? That's inexcusable. That's absolutely inexcusable. Hilarious, dude. Hilarious. I love how freaking YouTube will recommend to you better Best helicopters for getting lieutenant and armory forager. How to get to sergeant quickly and armory forager. How many is that? Okay, for the 9th. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
They dropped all of that, the lawsuits against us. They lost the lawsuit. So this is
Correct.
Dwayne
1927.
Jackson.
Owned. What up?
so he dropped the lawsuits. He was told to by the DOJ because they had no lawsuit. They lost in court.
Absolutely, Num. I love it too, Num. I love it so much. I'm loving this press conference so much. These types of clips as YouTube shorts will get absolutely negative comments and be like, dude, what the hell is this? Be like, showing some clips up, man. That's it.
A lot of everything. And we don't need any of it. So I said to him, well, why are we doing
Yo,
it?
Chunky
I
boy,
don't
what's
know
up,
if you're
Chunky?
able to answer the question, but I
What's
can
up,
answer it. We're
Lecter?
doing it because
Why do we need to trade with you? He was unable to answer.
we got a lot of milk. We got a lot of everything. And we don't need any of it. So I said to him, well, why are we doing it? He said, I don't really know. He was unable to answer the question, but I can answer it. We're doing it because
Why do we need to trade with you? He was unable to answer. Donald Trump is hilarious.
of habit.
Donald Trump asked Canada, why would the United States need to trade with you? We don't need any of your stuff. Why would we trade with you? And the Canadian Prime Minister couldn't answer. Couldn't provide an answer. It's just, if you don't find that funny, like, you got something wrong with you. Yeah, I'm playing right now. Nice, Goku. Good for you. Yes, today, after he said he was on the phone with President Biden when that lawyer ripped him a new one. Bro, guess I've been working my tail off all day. I've literally been grinding all day. I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. Oh, you got a clip? Okay, good.
Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I
can't- it
don't
doesn't-
believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the
Why
call.
is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So
There's
let's
no
get
cell
it.
service.
Let's get it. I want to be here when you
what
call
I'm
the
doing.
president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids. Losing the school.
Everyone who went to school there, they lost
I
their
know.
homes. They lost
I know.
2 homes because they were
I know.
living in one and building another. Governor, please tell me, what are you going to do with the president
doing-
right now?
We're getting the resources to help rebuild. We're getting
Why
the
was there
resources
no
to deal with
water
the
in the
issue.
hydrants,
That's
Governor?
all that's all literally.
Is it going to be
literally-
different next time?
It has to be. Has to
Right.
be. Of course.
What are you going to do?
I'm doing
To
everything
fill the
I can.
hydrants. I would fill them up personally, you know that.
I literally have.
I would fill up the hydrants myself.
I understand.
But would you do that?
I would do whatever I can. I've
But
been
you're
doing whatever I
not.
can.
I see do you know there's water dripping over there, Governor? There's water coming out there. You can use it.
I appreciate it. I'm going to make the call to address everything I can right now, including making sure people
I'd
are
like
safe.
to make sure you do.
guys.
Can
He needs
I
to call
have an
the president.
opportunity
He
to at
needs
least
to-
tell
he needs to
people
call
you're
the
doing what you're
president.
saying you're doing?
Thank you.
Could somebody have a contact? Can I have your contact
yes.
information?
Right
Right
there.
now.
Thank you. Governor!
Oh, so this lady's a lawyer, you're saying? This lady's a lawyer? She's understandably distraught, which is sad and unfortunate. But that's crazy. Yeah, Gavin Newsom just comes off as a complete and total fraud, in my opinion. Like, he just comes off as so fake and slimy and so just BS. I'm out here helping with the fires, working in Sierra Madre right now. Wow, Chunky boy, good for you, man. Doing traffic control though, well, not actually fires. Still, good for you for helping, man. This lady's a lawyer like you. She was picked out by a Sky News crew on the ground when they were following her around today. Oh, wow. He is running from the public like Tim Walz did combat. Right. It's like... And the problem is like he knows it's on video and he knows it's all just like a staged thing, and he knows that he's not actually going to answer her questions, and he knows that it's his fault. The reason that this thing is so screwed up.
No circumstance
It's all
will
right.
ever be the 51st
Then
state.
maybe he won't win, but maybe he will. I don't.
You had suggested that
Listen,
you're
I don't care what he
considering-
says.
I don't care what he says. I don't care what he says. I love that.
To acquire Panama and Greenland. Are you also considering
I don't care. I don't care. Oh yeah, that press conference was gold. That was like the first big press conference, wasn't it? Really, as part of the presidential transition, that was really the first big press conference was 2 days ago. I guess that was Tuesday. That Tuesday press conference was huge.
I wanted to mention the ribbon I wear all the time. I've been wearing it since October 7th. It's a ribbon that signifies concern for the hostages that are being held by Hamas and obviously by Iran. Iran tells Hamas what to do. In Australia, a tennis player was participating in a major tournament, and she came in with this little tiny ribbon on her tennis outfit, and they banned it. They made her take it off, but she didn't tell anybody. She just put it in the back of her hair and used it as a kind of beret. And so, but the idea that you would ban a ribbon, I just don't believe that's appropriate. It's not a political symbol; it's a human symbol. In any event, Biden said today that he's still considering preemptive pardons. He's not sure. He'll decide. He has another, week and a half to decide whether he'll do preemptive pardons. Preemptive pardons are lawful. They're legal. You can pardon somebody for anything that they have done. You can't pardon them for things that they will do in the future. And of course, once they're...
You know what I was gonna check? I wanted to check the live wildfire coverage.
Guardsmen, as we see, and then the state, again, I can't say enough about the Office of Emergency Services and the support of Governor Newsom, who has basically called and said, what do you need? What else can we send you? I also received a call from Commissioner Sean DeRee from the California Highway Patrol. We have been utilizing their resources and using them through a mutual aid response throughout the county. I want to switch gears momentarily. You've heard the word curfew come up a couple of times. We as the county are in the process with our attorneys and our Office of Emergency Management of drafting that curfew paperwork. And as we're doing that, I cannot tell you if the curfew will be enacted tonight. The goal is for it to be enacted tonight, but once we get everything done, we may enact it tomorrow night. That being said, I want to make sure, and we've said it a couple of times, in the areas that have been evacuated, do not go in there unless you have specific business. And right now, the only people who have business in there are firefighters and law enforcement, or some kind of worker that's trying to put utilities back together for us. You will be detained. You will be arrested if you're doing there and you're up to no good. And as the mayor said, we've all talked to the district attorney, who says that they will prosecute without hesitation. So please.
Wow, so now all of a sudden there's law enforcement and prosecutions in LA? Who knew?
Clarification is not county-wide. The curfew will only take place in the impacted areas, specifically those areas that have had mandated evacuations. So, for example, in the city of Los Angeles, as they're requesting those National Guard resources, you're talking about the Palisades area. For us in Los Angeles County, it is also that Palisades, Malibu, Lost Hills area, and then the Altadena area. Pasadena, self-explanatory. Santa Monica,
Right, guess.
self-explanatory.
Yeah, when it's rich people's houses in LA, I guess they care about looters. Weird. That's kind of weird.
From a mutual aid perspective, we are second to
Lecture, why do you think Trump
in this country?
Lecture, why do you think Trump is advocating acquiring Greenland, and do you think it could potentially hurt US relations with Denmark? I think Trump is advocating acquiring Greenland for multitudes of reasons, lots of different reasons. Number one, he loves the idea of territorial expansion and expanding the United States territorially. He believes in manifest destiny. He believes in the Monroe Doctrine. I think he's also doing it for military and national security and strategic reasons and economic reasons, and to help the free world in its fight against totalitarianism, to help the free world in its fight against totalitarianism. And yeah, those types of reasons. Do I think it could potentially hurt? Of course, it'll hurt relations with Denmark.
Responsive, who have been supportive and collaborative during very trying times. Today, we closed all schools in Los Angeles Unified School District, and we announced earlier today, because of a detailed examination of scientific data, wind trends, and the continuity of these awful fires, that would be prudent to announce early on the closure of all schools going into tomorrow, January 10th. We made this decision after reviewing, first and foremost, air quality data. Fires may be far away from some communities where we have schools. However, winds are transporting particulate matter, smoke, and ashes across the entire district. And yes, we celebrate when the winds subside, because that allows more effective combating of fires. But when the winds subside, often that cloud of smoke lingers over certain communities. When the winds pick up, obviously the fires explode, creating more smoke. Smoke for us is the enemy, as it compromises the air quality around our schools. We opened 8 feeding centers, grab-and-go food distribution centers across our community. We will increase that to 16 centers across Los Angeles Unified. We recognize that when we close schools, there are a lot of parents who depend on our schools not only for nutrition, but also for child supervision. That is why we partner aggressively, and I am indebted to the YMCA for opening 30 sites providing child supervision with enrichment activities at no cost to the residents of our community. So tomorrow, our students will continue in a continuity of learning methodology, relying on digital resources available to them. We also recognize that some areas of our community are struggling with power, with electricity. Obviously, not being able to perhaps have electricity for their devices. That is why at our regional centers we have packets of instructional materials for all grade levels and subject areas for those families that may need them. For tomorrow, not only are our schools...
Yeah, Eric, what I've really learned, Eric, is that I actually didn't really understand the full history of sort of Greenland. And Greenland has this whole history that's associated with the Vikings and Denmark and indigenous, I think indigenous people, right? Like a lot of the people of Greenland are indigenous, right? A lot of the people of Greenland are like indigenous. They like or live there like since forever, right? They're like maybe mixed with some, maybe they're like half Danish, half indigenous or something, like, or what's the ethnicity of the people living there?
To say what has been said, this is a set of unprecedented circumstances. At no point in the history of our community, or perhaps the country, have we had fires simultaneously happening, not one, multiple serious fires simultaneously occurring, wrapped around hurricane-level forced winds. I come from a place where hurricanes are a constant. but there's no fire associated.
Oh, okay, here we go. Greenlanders primarily belong to the Inuit ethnic group, which is indigenous to Greenland. This group, also referred to as a Kalalet, has lived in Greenland for thousands of years and shares cultural and genetic ties with other Inuit peoples in the Arctic regions of Canada, Alaska, and Siberia. Wow, dude. Freaking crazy, man. Dude, how insane is that there's the Inuit and they live like in the Arctic regions in Canada, Alaska, and Siberia. There's a minority population of Danish and European descent due to Greenland's historical and ongoing connections with Denmark. Greenland is an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark. This creates a population that is ethnically diverse, although predominantly Inuit. Okay, yeah. So Greenlanders are mostly Inuit. Okay. Man, ChatGPT is so much better than Google. It's really crazy, man.
Because of the ongoing wildfires that we're seeing. So LAUSD across the board and all
right, guess that's hilarious.
Activities that go along with the district are canceled for tomorrow, January 10th.
And we're seeing similar things in school districts across our region as well. UCLA, Pepperdine, putting out notices that they are also doing similar. Some of them basically canceling everything through next week just to give people more time and space to deal with all this. So it's going to be a while till things get back to normal. And we know there are some campuses within the district that are never going to reopen because they're totaled.
We also got word of
this is wild, man.
Unfortunately, is rising because of the fires. So initially, we've reported that 5 people have died, and today, at an earlier press conference with LA County Sheriff Robert Luna, he made it clear that those 5 deaths were both from the Palisades and the Eaton fires.
Eric, no, I mean. No, I mean, Eric, I totally understand. Like, I don't know if Trump will necessarily succeed in acquiring. Of course not, Eric. Of course, it's a very, very difficult thing. But I'll tell you how it can be done. One way it could be done is gradually over time push for the independence of the Inuit people of Greenland, and then offer to allow the people of Greenland and the Inuits to come into the United States and offer them all sorts of money and financial benefits and national security guarantees and independence and autonomy. And why should the Inuit people of Greenland not get to make their own choice about what they want to do with Greenland? And have them have a vote on it and push politically for it and force Denmark to do it and tariff Denmark and sideline Denmark if they mess with us.
Firefighters deployed around the country. Let me acknowledge Freddie Escobar, who is the head of the firefighter union. So just as we have provided mutual aid, I'm getting calls from some of my former colleagues in Congress who are now governors of state who have offered to send people. So I think we have been rich in support. I don't know if we ever have enough resources, but Chief, let you take it from there.
How are your firefighters holding up? Everyone has been flooding the social media and email and phones saying how wonderful our firefighters are. What more do they need? How exhausted are they?
I would love to start with that. So thank you so much for asking about our first responders and our partners. So take a deep breath and I think about what our firefighters, first responders have been able to do. You look at the multiple fires, the fires keep coming. Our firefighters are working to the highest efforts. I've never seen this in my 25-year career, and I can tell you, as a chief, I can stand strong. I can tell you that LEFD and the rest of our regional partners, our firefighters, boots on the ground, are absolutely tired, but I tell you, they will never, ever give up. They will continue to work hard. They will continue, and we will continue to work to make sure that we're saving as many lives and saving as many properties as we can.
With everything they've been through, though, the problems that we've been hearing from homeowners with water, with the 3 tanks that DW key supplies in that area running out.
Right.
Is that system fixed? Can you assure residents that those hydrants are again going to be working and that's going to be online? Residents are worried that there's a problem preventing you from stopping this fire. We're still at 0% containment.
Sure. What I can tell you first and foremost, one of the biggest assets right now is our air assets. They're in the air. You can see them. We're watching the news just like you. We're talking with everybody, boots on the ground, and the community members. That is one of
Oh, I don't know when Prologue got over 1 million. I don't know.
Palisades is our air resources are running, and they're dropping water and retardant, which is a huge asset for us. When it comes to the basic...
Actually, polling, Eric, I think polling shows that like half of them actually do want to, I think, be a part of the U.S.
Out of water, and we anticipate that because of the supply demand. There's so many firefighters tapping into a limited supply of water. We're going to anticipate we're going to run out of water. But I tell you, with firefighters, we do train to that fact. We'll figure out a way to either draft waters out of pools, ponds, whatever it may be, and also utilize additional resources out there with water tenders that carry thousands of gallons. So what I can tell you, the firefighters are doing their very, very best. I promise you that. And also the air assets are a huge, huge thing that we're utilizing right now that'll help Palisades.
Is there a problem with the hydrant system? That's what homeowners are wondering.
Right now, we're not utilizing the hydrants.
Next question, Major Curtis. And Mayor Bass, if I may just have one more question. You just got back, and there's some national criticism that you've seen. You say we need to stand together. Yes. But there have been calls for your resignation. There's a change out.
Vike, what's up, Vike? They should be drafting water from the Pacific Ocean.
Let me say, actually,
Like, yeah, Vike, it's like, you have the Pacific Ocean right there. What do you mean you're out of water?
Of course.
There's unlimited water.
But there was one thing you didn't mention, and that is that while our firefighters are out there fighting fires, they also have had loss as well, whether it's their homes or property.
Wow, Vike. No possible way, Vike. That can't be true.
In these neighborhoods, they're having to fight fires. And let me just say, because I answered some questions like that in the morning, and let me just state now. Number one, these fires are burning now. Our job is to make sure that people stay alive, that we save lives, that we save homes, that we save property. And I also said that when the fires are out, we will do a deep dive. We will look at what worked. We will look at what didn't work, and we will let you know. Until then, my focus is on the TV screens behind you that are showing devastation that has continued. Thank you. Answered it in the morning, answered it now, won't answer it again.
Next question, Major Curtis.
Sir, in terms of President Trump's process, can you reverse any of the
Well, let me just say quickly that some of the staff from FEMA, and I know our administrator will say this too, are not political appointees. So they will continue to be in place, ones that we are working with today.
And I'm just going to ask you to repeat the question because I didn't hear it.
From reverse. Thanks.
Oh. Oh, there you are. So this is, yep. So this disaster declaration was already given, just like many declarations that have happened across the country. Last year, we had 179 disaster declarations. So those are all in place. And we have dedicated teams of people that are at our headquarters that are working on making sure that we're providing every flexibility within our authorities. But our regional administrator that's here in Region 9, Bob Fenton, he's a career employee. He has worked through all of these, and he will be working side by side with the state and with the city and the county to help them.
I hate how they abuse of these declarations. I mean, this one's an actual declaration of emergency or whatever. But there was 180 of them last year. Like, sounds like too many to me. Exactly, Eric. Yep, exactly, Vike. Yep, 1927.
Emergency services for the county. He'll address that.
He actually provided remarks earlier. Did you get that? We want to know who authorized it and if this is something we should be worried about moving forward as well.
As far as authorization, so when Unified Command determines a location is going to be issued as an evacuation order or an evacuation warning, the incident commanders designate that. That then gets communicated to the Los Angeles County's Office of Emergency Management and the Emergency Operations Center, who actually do the function of, through a technological system, a software system, issuing that. There was an error within that system that went beyond the zone that was designated. So the correct zone was designated as authorized by the incident commanders on what was supposed to be a zone for the Kenneth fire.
Next question.
What?
Last month you wrote a memo that was transmitted to the mayor, circulated widely on social media.
Dude, no, Vike, all of these officials say that the LAFD is doing fantastic. What are you missing?
Overtime variable staffing, and in your memo you said the reduction severely limited the department's capacity to train for and respond to large-scale emergencies, including wildfires. And I'm wondering how much of that $7 million would have gone to emergency response and preparation, and did it affect operations of this disaster?
Why is that? What's that buzzing?
So, in regard to the budget cut, that was a $17 million budget cut from our current budget, 25-26. I made some difficult decisions in regard to certain types of duties and responsibilities that our firefighters take on that are non-emergency. We refocused our efforts on utilizing our budget that we had allotted, and we focused back on number one fundamentals in regard to emergency operations and training. We made our adjustments. We're working closely with Mayor Bass. She's supporting us on this. We have an interim budget that will also assist us when it comes to emergency operations. We pre-deployed, so we did everything. I can tell you, we're working with Mayor Bass, we're working with city leadership in regard to the current budget, and what I do want to focus on is 25-26. I did submit my 25-26 budget with the specific ask in regards to what the LAFD needs to move forward with providing the optimal emergency services care. Thank you.
But did it actually affect, as part of the question was, did it affect this emergency, the scenario you described, did it affect this emergency, and were you asked to cut the budget again by 6% in this next budget year? Were you asked by the mayor's staff to make another 6% reduction?
So there was a budget reduction exercise. That was for the remainder of this fiscal year.
Wow.
They were not cut.
Wow. So they went through. They're trying to cut the budget. They're trying to cut the budget of the fire department in LA. Wow. Why? So they can put up a bunch of woke left-wing art?
We're still in the process of determining that. There are, unfortunately, fatalities at both locations. But please be patient with us. As everybody has stated up here, this is an active, chaotic situation in all the places that we're at. So we'd like to know. But we want to give the most specific, accurate information. So we're going to wait until it is safe. And just to paint a picture for you, our firefighters, our deputy sheriffs, our police officers are going into these areas. There are still active fires. There are gas leaks. It is dangerous. When it is safe, we will go in there with the appropriate resources and make sure that we get an appropriate count. I pray it doesn't go beyond what we're hearing now, but I don't want to give false information. We are talking about deaths. There are people hanging on, waiting to hear from family members. This is very serious, and we want to get it right.
I just want to clarify, like, if you turn below 5 or 6, I know you're still calculating, but I just want to make sure we're accurately reporting what the total estimate is with the new deaths reported in the past 6 months.
Yeah, the last number that we gave was 5. I believe that splits.
Wow, Vike. So these Democrats in LA have been cutting the fire and police? That's the core number one mission of the city. What the heck?
The obvious question is, do you think it's going to grow? I am praying it doesn't, but based on the devastation that is clear, it looks like a bomb, an atomic bomb dropped in these areas. I don't expect good news, and we're not looking forward to those numbers.
Sheriff, County OES said that there was a glitch, that the evacuation order went out of Prospect County, and they're not sure exactly how it happened. Are you concerned that could happen again? Or a lot of people that reached probably 10 million people, that's the estimate. Are you concerned that could panic people in the future until we find what the glitch is?
Yes, absolutely. Obviously, under these very stressful...
Dude, so then they sent out a false evacuation order?
The last thing that we want to happen.
What a disaster.
In this day and age, we depend on technology. And
yes, he is dire.
Technology isn't perfect. I have all the confidence that Kevin, his team will go back and look at with our technology people from the county. We don't want to repeat it. Personally, my daughter called me and said, "Oh my God, I think I have to evacuate." And I said, "Honey, no, you don't have to. I get it. It's not what we wanted to go out, but we're going to try and fix it." We are we're in the middle of a crisis, and communication is very important, and people are tense right now. And that's why we are going out of our way as a team to communicate at least twice a day with all of you so we get the best information out. So we'll fix it.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Good job.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mayor. There is a lengthy brief.
And that was an update from officials there as we continue to learn more and more about the handful of major fires that are still spreading throughout LA County. It's time for us to take a commercial break. We head back out to KTTV.
That one's not the best. Cake. This one seems maybe better.
So really good news at that. I'm going to ask Oliver to zoom out or pull out and look at the Palisades fire, because the area that we were sitting in here, we were able to actually see both fires.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of calls, and the reason I'm asking him to do this is because I got a lot of tweets and some messages from people that are in the Encino area that were concerned because they could see the fire, the glow of the fire, of the Palisades fire, coming over the Encino area. But look at this, Pat. I'm not seeing any of that.
I'm in awe.
And that is such good news. I mean, the firefighters really used today to really, try to get the good containment lines on these fires. So the good news is as Oliver's panning around, here we go. Oh, there's the Palisades fire. Sorry about that. He was looking at a different mountain.
I have to say, that was remarkable.
Yeah. So there is, but look, I mean, we're not seeing those huge towering flames like we were before. We are seeing, definitely some hot spots, definitely some spots that need some work, but certainly a much better picture than we have seen over the last few nights. And anytime you see it, more of those embers, and we're getting a little bit of a skid in the shot, so bear with us there. But anytime you see some of those embers like that, it's certainly better. But definitely still, these hot pockets that they're dealing with in the canyons there. And that's the nature of the topography of the Santa Monica Mountains. There's just so many canyons kind of in and out that they have to deal with, and it just takes a while to do this.
Ask you a question.
Yeah.
Several, but let's start with this one. That shot that you showed us of the Kenneth fire, can we pinpoint exactly where that is?
Yeah, Ollie, let's go back to the Kenneth fire, and if you can put up the street overlay for us so we can tell our viewers exactly what part of the area is still burning. So he's going to spin the camera back around and give us a second. It's a little dark up there and, easy to get disoriented when you're up that high in the sky. So give him just a second. He's going to do that. But it looks like it's kind of in the area of right above the Mountain View community where it was burning. So this is kind of going to be the southwestern portion of the fire. There we go. So Crummer Canyon Road is where it's kind of burning. And again, you see just the hot spots there. So there's not a ton left. And let me look where Crummer Canyon is really quick, and I'll give you some kind of more major cross streets. But according to our map tracker, Crummer Canyon Road is where that is still burning. And that's actually going to be, so that's actually going to be between...
Looks like it's burning in lots of spots. Or are those light? Like, what?
And the Malibu Canyon north of the 101 freeway here. Basically, your bigger cross there is going to be Moray Road. I'm not saying that right, and I apologize. Moreau Road and Mountain View Drive, kind of in that area. So there's a ravine there, and I'm going to ask, I think Mike Parrott's in the booth, if we can look at my computer really quick, Mike, because there we go, thanks. I want to show our viewers here. So this is the area that we're looking at here, and there was this ravine that the fire started to kind of push down into, which is kind of into this area. So that's where he's looking at. So This was the latest kind of fire print of it, but I think that's a little bit outdated at this point because the fire did start to push down into here. And so when you look at Crummer Canyon Road, where Oliver's looking, that is where I'm circling in the map right here in the red. So it's kind of in this area, and then you've got it still burning a little bit over in here too, which is going to be closer to Elijah, and then you get further to the west, and you have Las Virgenes Road. So that is kind of where it's at right now, and but doing a good job of keeping it in check.
Well, it's really, and I'm surprised because the shot that Oliver showed us really just before that press conference started, we saw a lot more fire. We saw way more flames, and now you really have to look for them.
Right.
People are still texting me about containment. I haven't heard that.
I don't think there is any containment yet. I think everything is still at 0. Let me just double check. Yeah, it's still technically at 0. You know, we should point out that containment and flames are not the same. Like, that doesn't mean the same thing, right? So just because we're not seeing any flames doesn't mean that it's contained, right? Containment is the actual physical lines that they are able to put around the fire. So just because we're not seeing any intense flames doesn't mean it's contained. It's out or contained, right? Yeah. So containment is just the physical hard line that they're able to put around the fire to make sure that the fire will not go outside of those lines. So that is what a containment is, and that is what they are still working on. That's what we saw those hand crews doing and those dozers. They're working to build the containment lines.
Okay, I knew you had all the incidentals that we need to know and to share with
So, well, if they're already building containment lines, it should be up to at least like 1% containment.
Less than an hour ago.
Oh, 100%.
So great work, and we know they are still out there working, as they are in the Palisades fire and the Eaton fire.
Yep.
You know, well, this is a good time, Mike, to bring in Evelyn Taft, our meteorologist, our all-knowing meteorologist. You know, Ev, we want you to walk us through what we can expect later this evening. And I don't want to be, I'm not a Debbie Downer, but what we want to do is just set a story or set the scene where we know we can have fires that look like, oh, they look great right now. However, it doesn't take a lot to spark a fire from something, well, from a spark, put it that way, right? From an ember.
From an ember.
Okay, so I'm not trying to you know, sound an alarm or a siren, but I just want to make sure we get the pertinent information that we should store.
Absolutely, and Pat, I'm so glad you said that because it's really about staying vigilant because anything can change at any time. The wind can pick up, an ember can fly, a new fire could break out, and here's the thing. I mean, we're looking at another bout of wind coming in.
Yo, Hydra, what's up, Hydra? Zacchaeus in the house. Cloak and Bear, what's up, guys?
Later, so it's great to see. When we do get a handle on a fire.
These folks from Cali should relocate to Montana since they lost their homes. I mean, if they really need help, we're willing to help. This is one of those cases where warnings were given forever and the causes proclaimed, but all ignored in favor of political objectives that project morality for the public, altering water for a fish or mismanaging forests in the name of preservation, etc. It's sad. Amen, Zacchaeus. Amen. Well said. The mayor of LA and the governor of California must be recalled and charged with criminal negligent homicide. Wow, Hydra. What's all the extremism for? Dude, they're doing they just had a press conference. They're doing everything they can. Gavin Newsom and the mayor of LA said they're doing everything they can. They've done everything they can. What are you upset about?
Wind goes tonight. We could start to really see that wind pick up in the overnight hours. So we're going to continue to watch it. We're going to wrap this up right now, but I'll have more updates coming up in a little bit. Pat, back to you.
All right, thanks so much for that, Evelyn. And now we want to go to our Ross Palumbo. He is live with Sheriff Luna at the Emergency Center. Hey.
Hey, you know, we just did that massive press conference, and one of the surprising announcements that we heard the mayor vaguely mention and Sheriff Luna went into more detail about was this curfew that you want to go into effect in these burned out areas. So where are we in the process? I just want to be really clear. It's not in effect right now, is it yet?
No, it is not. But the purpose of the curfew is to make sure that the residents that are being evacuated feel confident that their properties are being protected. It's an extra layer of protection. So a lot of the residents are saying, please do this. So Supervisor Barger has come to us, and we looked at it strategically. We felt it was a right direction to go. Where we're at right now is County Council is preparing the paperwork. I've seen the latest draft. We're going to forward it to the other agencies like the Los Angeles Police Department. We want to do this together so it's more effective. When it takes place, it'll mean that at 6 p.m. at night, no one can enter these specific areas until 6 in the morning.
Are we talking about this could possibly go into effect later tonight, or is this going to be tomorrow and beyond?
I'm hoping we can do it later on tonight, but it's doubtful. I'm probably looking more at tomorrow night. But again, it's for the purposes of keeping people who don't belong in these mandated evacuation areas out of there, because we've arrested people, unfortunately, for burglarizing homes in those areas.
You know, I want to talk about the looting very quickly, Sheriff, if I may, because the LAPD chief said that they have not had any incidents. How bad has it been?
I mean, you sort of understand that, but at the same time, it's like, yo, it's John, what's up?
How bad has it been so far?
When we're talking about looting, it's not like sometimes you see on video where you see, 50 individuals running into a store to grab things. We're talking about 1, 2, 3, or 4 people who are casing some of these neighborhoods, going in, burglarizing homes, and taking loss. And yes, we've made arrests throughout the county and the affected areas for this, and our deputies have relayed stories of us where they're actually preventing people, they're stopping people who can't tell you why they're there. They definitely don't live there, so we don't want that.
Dude, nice, Zacchaeus. That's awesome.
It is an absolute problem, and I'm gonna tell just your viewers, if you're thinking about going.
Wow, those are good points, Hydra. Those are good points, Hydra.
And I talked to the DA earlier today, and he is going to prosecute to the full extent of the law. Do not hurt these people more than they're already hurt.
It's despicable and unimaginable. Before I let you go, let me ask you about your deputies. Everyone is so happy to see them in a crisis like this. They're doing a wonderful job. I've seen them out there. How are they holding up?
You know what? They are amazing people. The work they're doing, the humanitarian work they're doing.
Yeah, Hydra, I just saw a well, Asia stock markets are down.
Wildfires continue to rage across the Los Angeles area for the third day with little signs of slowing. The fires burnt through tens of thousands of acres in America's most populated county, engulfing entire neighborhoods and destroying thousands of structures.
It is safe to say that the Palisades fire is one of the most destructive natural disasters in the history of Los Angeles.
Several people have died. Police said it wasn't exactly clear how many.
Unfortunately, I think the death toll will rise. I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's going to rise.
Hundreds of thousands of residents were ordered to evacuate their homes, with more under evacuation warnings. The Los Angeles area, which is home to nearly 10 million people, was smothered by smoke and ash as the fires burned. Before and after images of homes and businesses in Los Angeles show the extent of the damage from the wildfires.
I don't know how we're going to come back from this. I don't even know where to start.
The fires could be the costliest in U.S. history, with one J.P. Morgan analyst estimating total economic losses of nearly $50 billion. Santa Ana winds of up to 100 miles an hour, the speed of a Category 2 hurricane, have helped fuel the blaze. Parched vegetation due to a lack of rain also helped the fires spread. More than 7,500 personnel have been deployed to combat the blazes, including firefighters from neighboring states. Firefighters were able to extinguish a brush fire that broke out Wednesday in the Hollywood Hills near the Hollywood sign. The fire in the Pacific Palisades area of Los Angeles, the largest active blaze in the county, continued to grow as of Thursday evening. Fire department officials said they were hopeful that less extreme winds could help them make progress in fighting the infernos.
That's crazy. Jeez.
Why do people donate blood? The benefits are endless, and the facts
California
are
has long been Trump's punching bag. Look at this. Look at this. Look at what they're trying to do now. California has long been Trump's punching bag. Now Los Angeles needs his help. The president-elect and Governor Gavin Newsom have had a rocky relationship for years. That's probably an interesting story. I wanted to see the thing about like 50 billion in losses. Oh, you know what? I was reading this. Let me finish reading this. I have an advantage or maybe a disadvantage compared with some scientists and psychologists who work on addiction. I was addicted to booze and benzos for 20 years on and off from the late 70s until the early 2000s. Although my drinking career began more or less normally, it ended in a grave, repetitive soul sickness and a very near-death experience. If I was awake, I was drinking and taking my pills. Sleeping involved falling unconscious from drinking, and waking was coming to because I needed the drink, akin to the way normal sleep can be interrupted by needing to pee, not at all like waking up to meet a new day, a new beginning. I would come to around 6:15 a.m. swearing that yesterday was the last time I'd drink. This was convenient because I was always out of booze by morning. So I would say to myself, I will not drink today, perhaps never again, but certainly not today. I'd boil water, grind the coffee for the French press. I'd pace, drink a cup of coffee, try to hold my terrified resolve. But by 6:56 every time, without fail, I'd be in my car arriving at the BP station, which meant beer to me. Only incidentally, in an emergency did BP have to do with gasoline. At 7 a.m. sharp, I'd gather 4 or 5 16-ounce cans of Heineken, hold their coal wet balm to my chest, put them down on the counter, only long enough to be scanned, paid for, and placed in the brown paper bag that would conceal their wet preciousness from the police, friends, or loved ones who might interfere with my insanity. By the last months, I did not care, at least not very much. I was resigned. I do not think being an addict gives me any special authority to say what addiction is, but I have been a friend of various kinds with alcoholics, junkies, crack and powder cocaine users, and potheads of every age, ethnicity, race, sex, gender identity, and sexual orientation. So I can tell you something about how they think and speak about addiction, what it seemed like for them, its effects on their hopes, aspirations, health, and relationships. And unlike most of the media and the addiction treatment industry, they usually don't think of it as a brain disease. Yeah, because it's not. That way of understanding addiction became popular after Alan Leshner, then head of the NIDA, National Institute of Drug Abuse, published a manifesto called Addiction is a Brain Disease and It Matters in 1997. Leshner published that in addiction, a metaphorical switch in the brain seems to be thrown, and that the real switch is likely to be found in midbrain circuitry, which he insisted is common across all substance addictions. More than a quarter century later, however, there's no agreement whatsoever on what that brain disease is, although most everyone says that it is one. Scientists and psychologists studying addiction have pointed to important circuits in at least 18 different brain areas, but they have not identified a single neural syndrome or profile that might be the disease of addiction. Addicts in recovery take a different view. They often say that if addiction is a disease, it's like type 2 diabetes in which the sick person is the participant. Whereas type 1 diabetes involves being born without the capacity to produce insulin, type 2 diabetes involves faulty insulin metabolism, typically associated with poor diet, lack of exercise, and being overweight. If you start to exhibit signs of type 2 diabetes, you can deal with it by exercising and eating better. Similarly, if you're an addict, you can stop using and in that way put whatever obsession and craving you experience, assuming these are among your symptoms, into hibernation or remission. This puts addicts in a double bind when it comes to shame. Diseases aren't the sort of things one should be ashamed about, but the addict nonetheless judges that their shame has a basis. They are doing things because of their addiction for which they hold themselves to account. So do loved ones, therapists, and courts. Even when they subscribe to the modern view that the addict is the victim of a disease, they still hold addicts responsible for what they do. Does disease seem like the right description to me? Not exactly. Addiction consumes and penetrates your entire being in ways that diseases, which normally have a physical location in the body, do not. I think it's more accurate to describe addiction as a disorder because my being was not coordinated with my best judgments about what and how and who I wanted to be. My reasons and desires were not in harmony with each other. And I couldn't, despite my desires, find a way to regain order and harmony and integration. I couldn't find the right way, really, any way out. Even at the end, there was some control that came in the form of maintenance dosing so that I could passively do my job. After teaching, I could drink vodka, which by then I preferred to beer or wine. It was a much faster delivery system. This pathetically degraded self-control was pretty much all the control I had left, and then only sometimes. At the end, even at the end, there was some control that came in the form of maintenance dosing so that I could passively do my job. After teaching, I could drink vodka. I was very sick, but not with the flu. I was in a pathetic losing battle with my desires run amok, sometimes fighting off overwhelming craving for my drug. Other times knowing that my relationships with genuinely good people, my work, my life could, indeed would, be lost if I chose to use. Almost 2 decades ago, thanks to a combination of love and luck, I stopped drinking and abusing benzos. There was help from the wise parts of myself as well as from loved ones who still saw space for a better, less disordered self, and who kept trying over the years to articulate its possibility. Indeed, it was often the bare possibility of feeling and being better that kept the hope alive. And there was help from the community of addicts as well as mental health professionals. With them, I was able to gain some control, some sense of order that I had either lost or couldn't find alone. The solution was social. Wow, that's pretty good, man. That was a thing I saw earlier that I wanted to check out.
Calabasas right now. And
That's pretty good, wasn't it? Guitar player. My mom had a drinking problem. She told me when she was a waitress at a dinner, she hid liquor bottles in the restaurant so she could drink while working. She would even sometimes drink a case of beer in the same day. Sorry to hear that, guitar player, but it happens. I personally have a drinking problem, which is why I don't drink. And I thank the Lord Jesus Christ that I haven't drank in 8 years, going on 9 years.
She's along PCH here in Malibu on the coastline.
Well, and Colleen and Michael, let me first tell you why it's so important that no people get in here tonight except for first responders and law enforcement. Take a look. This is what half of this neighborhood looks like. You can see that burned out shell of a car, and behind it, that eerily high chimney. That is what much of this neighborhood looks like. We spent much of the day along the PCH, which, as you also know, is closed to non-emergency personnel, closed to just emergency personnel. And here's why. They are mopping up a lot of hot spots along the PCH, and it is incredibly still dangerous. There are telephone poles all over the place, downed lines, exposed nails, and they need to get in and out without hampering their efforts by just people trying to come in and
Congrats,
see what's going
bad
on,
boys,
or try
congrats.
to get to their homes. And
Good
so they're
question,
mopping up
Eric.
there, and then, of course, they also have strike teams that are going into the canyons and still fighting this Palisades fire, which is the largest of them all. As we've been hearing, it has burned nearly 20,000 acres. It has destroyed 5,000 structures, homes like all of these. And we have learned today that there are 2 deaths. So, you know, it's
Oh yeah, they are Hydra. They're trying to with Pennsylvania too, I think.
to try to get to your house and see what's left, if anything, but they have to do their job, and utility crews are also out all over the place tonight trying to get those downed lines out of the way, and so the cleanup can begin. And so sometime, hopefully in the next couple of days, people can get back into their homes. Back to you.
All right, Sarah Wallace reporting there for us. We appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. We're going to check in once again with Ileana Marino. She is
Dude, this
live,
is insane.
Overhead in News Chopper 4 at the Palisades fire. This is along the Sullivan Ridge Trail. We're looking at a lot of active flame out there, Ileana.
Yeah, this is the biggest area of flame here, as you said, off of Sullivan Fire Road. And this is the south side of the Palisades Fire. Earlier, we were coming to you from the San Fernando Valley, which would make it the north side. So this is the south side. And so what I want to do here, we obviously see that large flame of fire there, that large area that's burning, but I want to show you using our map what the terrain looks like and what's ahead if those flames continue to push in that northwesterly direction. So bear with me here as I give you our essentially our overhead map image so that you can see that essentially the area that I'm pushing in on now is where the flame is. And you can see it's just a mountainous area. It's all brush. There's no homes up ahead. So in the direction that the fire is heading right now, there's not going to be any structures in its path. Thankfully, a lot of those structures, unfortunately, have burned that are just below that ridge, and those are the homes that we see there. So let me bring it back live to our current image so that we can show you those flames again and the proximity to the nearest homes, which really isn't far at all. But again, the fire is burning away from these structures, so unless there's a significant shift in the winds, it shouldn't double back on itself and should just continue to burn that brush. And I'll widen out the shot again so I can give you a better perspective of what the fire continues to look like pretty much everywhere else. We do still have some pockets of flame. This is further to the east, kind of the northeast. This is basically the top of the ridge that I was showing you when we were on the San Fernando Valley side. These were the flames that were on the very top of the ridge and possibly starting to make their way south on that side of the hill. But again, at this point, they seem to be holding right at the top. We don't anticipate that they'll make their way down.
Yo, Ruddy's in the house. Who else is here? Yo! Whoa! Liberty Twitcher with the tier 3 for 43 months. Yo, thank you, Liberty Twitcher. Appreciate that so much. Thank you so much. All I'm hearing about is structures lost. Where I'm hearing about the heroic work of saving those tiny climate essential fish. Homes can be rebuilt after all. Yeah, good point, Ruddy. Yep. Cali looks like a war zone. There's some streamers in the area. Wow, really? Streamers? All right, Liberty Twitcher says, maybe it's too soon to do this, but if there's any benefit from these fires is that California might finally go Republican. Yeah, too soon. You're not wrong, but too soon. They're all going to Arizona and Texas. Democrats don't do enough to prevent wildfires because they would rather blame global warming. But that brush is critical for the grasshoppers. Yeah, I mean, the reality is that, I mean, number one, I guess, like, none of us, I assume, are, fire experts and fire control experts, but I think from what I've heard and from what I understand about, they don't do any brush clearing to prepare for this. They don't have any water because they're obsessed with letting the water go into the ocean. They don't do forest management very well. They cut the spending, city spending on the police and the fire department. It starts to look political.
Tomorrow morning so that they can continue the firefight. So there's one of the fire helicopters that I'm talking about there. So they're still here, they're still monitoring, and we do still have a lot of ground crews. In fact, I believe that's a couple of fire trucks up there. You'll notice there are lights here. Bear with me for just a moment while I throw in the doubler. So you see the hand crews up there doing what they can. Again, I was concerned about the top of that ridge because if there is a shift in the winds, those flames could go over the ridge and start making their way down into the San Fernando Valley and towards Tarzana. We saw a very similar fire behavior in the 2017 La Tuna fire when the fire started on the La Tuna side of the Verdugo.
Dude, it's just nuts, man. Just absolutely flipping nuts what's going on there. Holy cow, guys. I'm out of energy. I wish I had more energy. Wow, dude. Hold on. Frankie on PC put up a new Arma Reforger video. Oh my goodness, dude. Arma Reforger, bro, is the biggest thing now. I need to play Arma Reforger tomorrow. I hate to have to get off after building up a number of viewers like this, but guys, I am so tired. I've been working my tail off. Thanks for being here, guys.